Ubisoft certainly has an interesting situation on their hands, because not only do they have one of the games that has the biggest ratio we've ever seen about to release this November with Assassin's Creed Shadows, something that's had a ton of backlash, something that got so bad they just had to issue an apology to the community for. But they've also got another one right around the corner that has received a ton of backlash as well, and that of course is Star Wars Outlaws. Ubisoft makes both of these games which received massive ratios and a ton of criticism, and rightfully so. They're probably worried about their bottom line. When you piss people off like this, when people reject your shit so hard before it ever even sees the light of day or comes out, you know you might have a problem on your hands. And that's apparently what Ubisoft feels it has, and rightly so. We saw what happened in the immediate aftermath of this big investors call. Their stock tanked. 13, 12, 14%, somewhere around there was the final number when it was all said and done, how much it dropped after this investors call. Ubisoft stock plummets 12% despite exceeding their sales targets because it didn't hit the market, what the market thought their sales target should be. And of course, looking forward, they really refused to get into any specifics regarding whether they felt that Star Wars Outlaws or Assassin's Creed Shadows in the coming months were going to be a success, or whether most people were going to consider them a failure. As a result, we saw that stock tank. And now, in the aftermath of the apology they were forced to give, that's the reason I feel this happened. The one we talked about yesterday, this big apology on Twitter, this 4-page apology that was not even really an apology, more like them trying to explain themselves, not to everybody, just the Japanese community. This had to happen because they are desperately trying to do damage control for what people feel could end up being a catastrophic failure for them. Now, to me, Assassin's Creed Shadows, it is still an Assassin's Creed game. I still think it's going to be massive in terms of sales. Is it going to stack up to what we've seen previously? They're coming off Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I think hit $1 billion in sales extremely quickly. So time will tell how well this is going to do when it comes out in November. But you're already seeing people that are furious that this even happened, specifically people in the woke games journalism industry, the same people that were bitching and moaning, how dare you criticize Yasuke, it's historically accurate. Well, now that we have, Assassin's Creed or Ubisoft themselves coming out and saying, hey, we chose Yasuke and we actually know that there's no proof that he's a samurai, but we wanted him in this game anyway. Now, they're forced to direct their vitriol once again towards the fans, the same fans that Ubisoft was just forced to apologize to. The media, they don't want them to do that. Assassin's Creed developers didn't have to explain their game. Ubisoft just gave the worst people on the internet ammunition. And I do think it's funny, Inverse, because this was not originally the title of this article. As you can see, when I originally searched Assassin's Creed Apology, the one I saw from Inverse right here, Assassin's Creed didn't need to explain Assassin's Creed to idiots. Man, I wonder why you guys had to change that title. Must have got a little too aggressively for you, not sure. Assassin's Creed game everyone wanted over a decade has been marred in a nonsense controversy since its 2 lead characters revealed earlier this year. Centering an African-born lead in a game set in feudal Japan is a great way to set Assassin's Creed Shadows apart from other excellent games that have already been explored in this era. No. You know what you should have done? You should have stayed with Assassin's Creed formula, and you should have made a great Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan with characters that make sense in the universe. Not pander to people. Not put a black person in there, that'll really set it apart from other feudal Japanese games. Yeah, it will. You know why? Because it's fucking nonsensical to do so. Instead, it's become a lightning rod for some of the worst people on the internet looking to turn fake outrage into cash and content. Hey, I'm one of those terrible people, but to call it like a fake controversy or something, explain this to me. How do we have nearly 1 million dislikes on this video? We're talking about 800,000 dislikes compared to just over 250,000 likes. This is massive. This is not just some little fake controversy. No, a lot of people were pissed off by this. And a lot of people in Japan, where this game is set, were infuriated by it. Despite the same people in the media complaining that Ghost of Tsushima, there's this cultural appropriation. This is not okay. Japan accepted and loved Ghost of Tsushima. What they don't love is this bastardization of their culture in Assassin's Creed. But this person right here, Throne Down, was not the only person that decided to go after fans, right? Rather than ignore ignoramuses who claim Shadow's black protagonist as part of a larger, sinister diversity effort in gaming. Have you not been paying attention for the past 10 fucking years? Ubisoft Quebec acknowledged these fraudulent concerns in a recent statement. While the developer isn't changing course from its decision to split the game's narrative between Japanese shinobi Neo and African samurai Yasuke, fake samurai, it practically handed those bad actors a fake victory in a culture battle that doesn't exist in the first place. If it doesn't exist, then why would you be upset about somebody getting a fake victory? Why? If it doesn't exist, why would you be upset about this in the first place? Very strange, isn't it? And of course, you have Alyssa Mercante from Kotaku, who just decides to take this opportunity to say this was never about anything other than hate. It's just so funny because I don't think it was Kotaku, but I do think it was The Gamer maybe that came out with this article after all the Yasuke stuff blew up. If they had made a black protagonist set in Assassin's Creed Africa, people would be mad about that too. We've already had an Assassin's Creed set in Africa. It was called Assassin's Creed Origins. And shocker, no one had a problem. There wasn't some big massive ratio. There wasn't some big backlash because they had a person in Africa be the protagonist that made sense during that timeline. You stupid fucking retards. Movements for ethics in games journalism or against forced DEI in video games are diaphanous veils draped over bigotry. From our friend Alyssa Mercante, of course it is. They are so damn mad that Ubisoft was forced, right? Forced because of the way people feel about everything going forward, forced because of the backlash towards this game. They were forced to give the most basic of basic fake apologies, essentially, to desperately try to explain themselves to the Japanese community while ignoring everybody else, apparently, who's also mad about this game. And the mainstream media hacks cannot stand it. They can't stand that they were forced to acknowledge this massive controversy. You can make all these fake arguments you want. You can complain about Gamergate's the biggest threat to the world we could possibly imagine. I do believe that terrible games journalists do see Gamergate as a threat, and they want to gaslight you and pretend it's this or pretend it's that in this whole Gamergate 2, whatever the fuck this situation has been over the last couple months. But it's not because it's just about racism. It's just about hatred of women. Man, weird, there hasn't been a lot of criticism towards the Japanese female main character in this. People have a problem with Yasuke because, one, the way it was presented, and two, the fact that they admitted that they intentionally chose a black person for this role instead of a Japanese man because of the story they wanted to tell about free Japan from oppressors and blah, 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 all this bullshit. Fans are sick and tired of it. Gamers have been sick and tired of it for a long time. And as much as the mainstream media is going to continue to tell lie after lie after lie, the reason Ubisoft felt they were forced to give this fake apology is because of all this backlash. It is real, it does exist, and it's a massive, massive problem for them. For both Assassin's Creed Shadows and for Star Wars Outlaws. That one's coming way sooner than Assassin's Creed. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.